$200. That's it. That's the number that quietly closes more new restaurants than bad reviews, bad locations, or bad food combined. It doesn't look dangerous. It looks like nothing, a rounding error, a number too small to worry about. And that's exactly why it kills people today. I'm going to show you the mistake, why it's invisible until it's too late, and 3 things about it that almost no first-time owner understands until they've already lost money learning it the hard way. Here's the mistake. In plain terms, most new restaurant owners undertrack small, recurring losses over-portioning, minor waste, comped items, a little theft here and there, inventory counts that are just slightly off, individually. None of it feels worth the time to fix. A server comps a $10 appetizer to smooth over. Complaint the kitchen runs a little heavy on portions because nobody's trained the line on exact weights yet. A case of produce goes bad because there's no clear rotation system. None of it feels like a problem. It feels like Tuesday but added up. And in almost every restaurant I've seen, including ones I've personally run, that quiet bleed lands somewhere between $150 and $300 a week. Call it $200 as the AVERAGETHAT. This the number. Here's the first thing almost no new owner understands. $200 a week isn't a $200 problem. It's a $10,000-$400-$100 a year problem. 200 times 52 weeks, $10,400 gone every single year. Most new owners think in weekly terms, even daily terms, because that's how cash moves in a restaurant. You're watching today's sales, but losses compound the same way. Revenue does. Nobody budgets $10,000 in invisible annual losses. But that's exactly what they're absorbing, without ever writing it down anywhere. And remember the margin math from the last video. Most restaurants run 3 to 6% net margin on a restaurant doing $600,000 a year. $10,000 in untracked bleed isn't a rounding error. It can be a quarter to a third of your entire annual profit gone, and it never even shows up as a single line item anyone reviewed. Here's the second thing that surprises almost every new owner. This mistake is nearly invisible on a standard profit and loss statement. Your food cost percentage might look completely fine. 30%, 31%. Right where it's supposed to be. That number doesn't expose the $200 a week because the bleed gets absorbed, blended into your overall cost of goods. It doesn't show up as fraud. It doesn't show up as one catastrophic event. It shows up as your numbers being a little soft every single month in a way that never quite explains itself. I've sat across from owners who said, almost word for word, the numbers look okay. I just don't understand why we're always a little short. That sentence, a little short every month, for no clear reason. That's the signature of this exact mistake. It's not a mystery. It's $200 a week, accumulating in the dark. Here's the third thing, and this is the one that actually matters most. This mistake isn't a discipline problem. It's a systems problem, and new owners almost always misdiagnose it as the Form a dot when a new owner finally notices something's off. The instinct is to blame the team. Tighten up on comps, lecture the kitchen about portions, watch the cameras more. That almost never fixes it, because the real issue isn't that your staff is careless, it's that you never built a system that makes the right behavior the default behavior. A kitchen without portion scales and printed spec sheets will drift toward no matter how good your staff is, because eyeballing it is the path of least resistance under dinner rush pressure. A pause without a COMP approval requirement will accumulate comps, no matter how honest your servers are, because in the moment, smoothing over a complaint feels more urgent than a 30-cent line item. Fix the system, not the person. The restaurants that plug this leak don't do it by hiring better people, they do it by removing the decision entirely. Scales on every station, a comp log that requires a manager's initials, a weekly inventory count that takes 15 minutes and catches the drift before it becomes a habit. So here's what actually closes this gap, and none of it is complicated. First, track weekly, not monthly. A monthly P&L is too slow to catch a $200 week bleed before it compounds into thousands. A 15-minute Friday check, comps total, waste log, and spot inventory count, catches it in week 1 instead of month 6. Second, put a number on every portion. Every dish gets a written spec with an exact weight or measurement. Every station has a scale. This isn't about distrust, it's about removing guesswork during a Friday night rush when nobody has time to eyeball anything carefully. Third, require approval on every comp, every time. No exceptions, not because your servers are dishonest. Most aren't, but because an unapproved comp is an invisible expense, and invisible expenses are exactly what kills restaurants in the dark. Slowly, over 18 months, none of this requires new software, a consultant or a single dollar of new investment. It requires about 15 minutes a week and the willingness to look at a number most owners would rather not look at. $200 a week doesn't sound like the kind of number that ends a business, but stretched across 18 months, multiplied by a margin that was already razor thin, it's exactly the kind of number that does. If this is the first time you're hearing this, go check your own comp log this week. Really look at it. You might be surprised what you find. Next video, I'm breaking down why restaurants secretly want you to order appetizers, and the pricing psychology behind it that most diners never notice. Subscribe if you want the real numbers behind the businesses you think you understand.